Hey guys, I'm back again. I just want to revisit the trade deadline of 2014 here, the Red Wings' point of view. We made one move, and it was definitely a big one. We got David Legwand, the first player in Predators history, and we gave away Patrick Eaves, which, alright, a third, and Yarncrook, which I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. Let's evaluate the pieces that we gave up before I actually talk about David Legwand. Patrick Eaves literally has practically no value in the organization anymore. He wasn't going to play. Let's just admit that for one. The third round pick, that's pretty much what I thought was going to be the basis of this trade. I thought maybe a second at the most, which it can be actually. I forgot to conclude that. The pick can become a second rounder if Detroit makes the playoffs, which only adds more insult to injury. I mean, because we paid a lot in this deal. We paid more than we really should have, considering what Thomas Vanek and Matt Molson got. But I don't hate the deal. I really don't. I actually really like David Legwand, and it's just he's gonna stay around. Like Vanek and Molson definitely have that rental tag on them. But I think Legwand will be here to stay, especially since he is from Michigan, for one. And I just this is textbook Ken Holland right here. He's gonna want to keep him for sure, and I think that'd be a good idea. Um, Getting into Yarncrook, I gotta say, he was our best center prospect, and he definitely had a lot of potential. We have a lot of centers in the organization, but we kind of lack guys that could potentially be the next top six wingers. We have guys like Nyquist, like I've touched on in the last video, who's a top six winger, but we were kind of lacking that center depth. We don't expect someone like Riley Shahan to be a top six center. We just don't. He's not your typical top six guy, even though he's done very well in that role while everybody's injured. It's just we gave up a lot, and I think that's what makes this deal look worse than it is, or potentially bad, because you see what guys like Thomas Vanek got, and you're like, well, I'd rather have Thomas Vanek. Who wouldn't? But at the same time, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding Yarncrook. Um, so, a lot of talks about him, like, wanting to be called up or he's going to bolt to Sweden, which, that's always a possibility. Um, Maybe, I think, honestly, in the situation, the fans, us, we don't know the whole story. I think there's more there than what's being told, and they just figured we might as well get this guy out of here before, we potentially lose him for nothing. And if that's the case, and, I'm sure Nashville really wants somebody else who is threatening to bolt to another country on their team. But you got to figure if he pans out and stays, and they keep him with Philip Forsberg, I mean, Nashville's going to be pretty set for the future. Um, it was an interesting deal. I wasn't surprised at all. I was tracking the deadline throughout the day. I didn't have anything else to do. I actually have the day off, so I've just been pretty much following Twitter and hockey's future, um, just kind of updating, refreshing, just seeing what's going on around the league, and a lot of interesting stuff going on. And that's pretty much the one I was tracking throughout the day, because Detroit really wasn't surrounded by any other, wasn't really in on any big names. They were on Ryan Kesler, and that was kind of scaring me for a while. Um, um, for the longest time, Detroit was still apparently in on Ryan Kesler. I'm just like, there's just no way. And I didn't think we would be. I didn't think something would actually get done. And like I said, I doubted Kesler was going to move, and he didn't go anywhere. But neither did Edler or Ehrhoff, and neither name was really mentioned throughout the day. But as far as other names that were actually ended up getting moved, we weren't really in on any of them. And then I kind of, once I saw that Detroit was interested in David Legwand, I'm like, it's gonna happen. The guy's 33 and from Michigan. It's gonna happen, and it did. Um, it kind of puts us in a spot in the future. A lot of people are like, well, it's a lot for a rental. And like I said, I don't think it's gonna be a rental. I think he's not gonna be a rental. Um, but it puts us in a weird situation where we do have a lot of guys when healthy, but we also have to assume that everybody will be healthy at some point. And that's a tall order itself. Um, you got to figure, with all these centers that we have, I mean, if you went right straight down the line, I mean, our four centers when healthy are amazing on paper. I mean, if it really worked out, I mean, you got Zetterberg, Datsuk is your second. Uh, I would still assume Weiss would be your third, and then Legwand your fourth. Well, I highly doubt they're really going to give David Legwand fourth line minutes or fourth line center role. I would rather have him play on the wing, or have him be the center and have Weiss play on the wing. And then you get yourself, you're like, well, where does that leave Shahan and Helm? Well, if Weiss or Legwand is your center and one of those play on their wing, you have the fourth line spot, and I think Helm would definitely benefit playing on the wing, because at this point you just want to put him in any role where he's not going to get hurt, because he's still very valuable, he's still a very good player, but I mean, he can't really give you anything if he's not on the ice or practicing or anything like that. So I think that's how things would shake out. And as far as guys like Anderson and Glendening, I think they're pretty much just band-aids on a wound right now. I don't really see either one sticking around. I like Glendening. I will point that out. I think Glendening is a very interesting option. He reminds me a lot of Kirk Maltby. Just even their like faces kind of look similar. They're just kind of like they're kind of grind line, penalty killing, and he's kind of an agitator. He likes to get under people's skin, which is actually very entertaining to watch. It's nice to see once in a while. I don't care for Joachim Anderson. I really don't. I never have. Honestly, looking at our list of prospects, I don't know why he was one of our first call-ups during. When did he get his first? I think during 2012, maybe. I'm not completely certain. But he was one of the first call-ups, and I think it was just because Babcock wanted somebody who's tall. But Anderson doesn't play big. He pretty much, he plays small. He doesn't really hit a whole lot. He doesn't really have a whole lot of redeeming qualities to his game. I think he's just kind of a warm body who can play for you. So I wouldn't mind if they sent him down, and I wouldn't mind if they sent Glendening down either. But if I had to pick between the two, I would pick Luke over Anderson. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I didn't really want to go into too much detail about every other team's moves at the moment. I just wanted to keep things short and keep them Detroit focused. As far as contracts go, I mean, obviously we can fit Legwand under the cap right now because of Zetterberg on long-term injury reserve. I don't think we'll have any problems keeping him in the future. I think they'll at least give Weiss another year before they even consider the buyout if he doesn't produce. But yeah, because you got to figure, even if you bought out Weiss, and this is going a little bit too far into the future, but I mean, we have guys like Samuelson, Cleary, Tutu, even. Always forget about Jordan Tutu even being with the team. Um, once some of these guys come off the cap, we should have no problem keeping guys like Legwand and Weiss. We really shouldn't, because we don't really have that much money tied up in our defense. So I mean, that pretty much ends it here. I'll be at the game tomorrow night, and can't wait. Go Wings! Can't wait to see Lidstrom's number go to the roof. And until next time, see ya.